In this lesson of the course, we're going to learn how to enhance eyes. So to me, this means sharpening, brightening, and adjusting the colors to make them pop a little bit more. The eyes really are going to be the main focus of a lot of portraits. It's where your eyes are, as the viewer, are drawn to initially. So how do we sharpen eyes in an intelligent way? Well, there is something called the high pass filter that we've actually seen earlier in this lesson on the skin, which we kind of use to blur the skin a little bit. This time we're going to actually use it to sharpen, which is typically what the high pass filter is for. Let's duplicate this bags layer, which is the first or the top layer of our actual portrait. Call this eyes. And what we're going to do is go up to filter, stylize, not stylize, other, and then high pass. And then set it to 30. So we set it to 30 and you say, hey, that looks great, right? No, just kidding. So we're going to change the blend mode from normal to soft light. And when you do that, you can see that everything starts to get a little bit sharpened. But we don't want that to affect everything. We just want it to affect the eyes. You kind of know the drill by now. Drag this into the layer mask option button holding the option key. And that creates a layer mask in black. We're going to paint on using our white brush at around 50% opacity, 100% flow. We're going to paint this on our eyes right here. Just like so. And if you turn this on and off, you can kind of see that it actually starts to brighten and sharpen our eyes. Just that little bit makes them a little bit more dynamic. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is actually enhance the color of the eye. There are a lot of ways to do this, but probably the easiest is just with a quick photo filter. So this works well because when you're enhancing blue eyes or green eyes, you want to add sort of a bluish filter. When you're enhancing brown eyes, you add more yellow or brown. And so if we add a photo filter, it's a quick way to do both. You can use this sort of any sort of filter or any effect that adds sort of a blue tint to your eyes. But for this one, we're going to choose a specific color. So let's go ahead. Actually, let's go ahead and turn this off. But with this selected, we're going to select the eye color. So you can just drop down and choose one of these cooling filters, or at least start from there and see. Pay attention to her eyes. See what looks good with her eye color. I think this 82 looks pretty good. You can go straight to blue, see what that does. You could also turn this on and off. Pay attention to her eyes and see what this does. You can also increase the density. I think that filter, cooling filter 82 looked pretty good. So this is going to kind of start to help. But again, what we're going to do is invert this mask. So what we can do is select it and press Command I, and then just with our brush, paint over the iris of the eye. So the colored part. We're not trying to color over the whites or even the blacks. Now her eyes are more of like a hazel. I got a little bit too much, so let's make sure we're not painting in the whites of her eye at all. But this is another way to actually change the color of someone's eye. So turning this on or off, you can see what that looks like. You can adjust the density or the strength of this with this density filter up here. You could also just adjust the opacity down here if you want. You could also change the blend mode to something completely different to see what this looks like lighten actually looks pretty good. So that looks pretty good to me. Looks more natural. Maybe boost the colors then, or the density a little bit. And I think that looks pretty cool. Looks pretty good. All right, so that's how I would enhance eyes with those two options. We'll call this eye color. And we're moving along. So if we turn this all off, you can kind of see way back at the beginning. Let's turn the very beginning one, first one off. So this is what we were at the beginning. And then let's turn all these on. And that's where we are now. Last thing we're going to do is enhance the lips.